Hello, welcome back to the channel. In our story of today, this is story of the triumph of will, a story of courage, determination, and dedication, a story of hope and resilience in the face of challenges. In 2011, 24 years old national level volleyball player ARUNIMA Sinha was thrown off a moving train by thieves for refusing to hand over the gold chain she was wearing. She lost her left leg when a train went over it. As she lay in the hospital bed with one leg amputated, ARUNIMA Singh took a vow that many would think impossible. Her goal from that day onwards was not just to become adept at walking with prosthetic leg, but scale the highest point in the world, Mount Everest. In 2013, she did just that, becoming the first Indian female amputee to achieve this feat. It was a feat which many would consider impossible, that not only brought back her self-confidence, but made her an inspiration for everyone back home. In 2015, she was awarded the Padma Shri, the fourth highest civilian award in India. Abilities friends at India-based Physio Times spoke to ARUNIMA Sinha about that unfortunate train journey. This agony that followed, the role played by physiotherapy in her rehab, why she decided to climb Everest, and how it is in the worst tragedies that the human spirit learns to soar. So here is ARUNIMA's story in her own words. She said, I come from Ambedkar as a small district in Uttar Pradesh, 200 kilometers away from Lucknow. My father was an engineer in the army and my mother, Kayambala, a health supervisor in a government primary health center. My father passed away when I was 3. I have an elder sister, Lakshmi Sinha, and a younger brother, Rahul Sinha. Upon my father's death, my brother-in-law, Master Amprakash, whom we fondly call Pai Sahib, became the family's de facto. Everyone in my family enjoys sports. I was naturally athletic as a child. I have been cycling since I can remember, had previously represented by school in football and later my college at national level volleyball. But sports took backseat when my job hunt started. I studied law after my postgraduate. I was confident about getting started on a post-career, but everyone feels the string of unemployment at some point in their lives. This time, I was at its receiving end. Upon my brother-in-law's suggestion, I decided to get a job in the paramilitary forces so that I can carry on with my passion for sports along with a regular source of income as well. Despite many heartfelt attempts, I didn't get through. The job search was not turning out as I had expected. I was getting desperate. In 2011, I applied for a head constable's post in the Central Industrial Security Force. When I get the call letter, I saw they had got my birth date wrong. Determined not to lose out on a good opportunity due to this technical error, I decided to leave for Delhi immediately to get it rectified. I was confident that once this was done, I would get the job. My whole life has been a struggle. I was in a struggle physically and mentally too, but my family was always with me. They say our lives are scripted in advance. We just play our part, and fate intervenes in my history's ways to ensure that no one deviates from the script. It was a wrong date of birth on my CISF interview call later that led me to my taking the train journey that changed the course of my life forever. I still get frightened when I think of that incident. On the night of 11 April 2011, while on my way to Delhi from Lucknow by Padmavat Express, I was attacked by a group of local robbers. They tried to snatch my gold chain, which was gifted by my mother. Being a single female traveler, they took me for an easy prey. When I refused to hand over the chain, they started coming at me one at a time. I tried to resist them. I kicked, punched, and fought as best as I could. Thanks to my athletic physique and fitness, I gave them thought time. For a brief moment, it even seemed I had the upper hand, but being a lonely girl, I could not resist them for longer, and eventually, I was overpowered by them. The compartment was full of people, but no one came to rescue of a girl being robbed and attacked. Those inhuman guys threw me out of the running train. I flew into an oncoming train, and the force threw me into the opposite tracks. What happened there after took a matter of seconds before I could move my left leg off the track. Another train came on the parallel track, ran over my legs. The whole experience was very scary. I discovered later that 49 trains had passed me by as I lay wrecked and bleeding on the tracks. Rodents would come and feast on my oozing wounds, scampering off when trains come. I kept screaming in pain before finally passing out. Looking back, I really wonder how I managed to hold on for so long. I never thought I would survive that night, but when morning dawned, the new with hope surged through me. Open tracks transformed into public toilets for poor villages who have nowhere else to defecate. The next morning when the ladies come to take it down, the sight of my mangled body greeted them. Pintu was the man who took me to the Prairie District Hospital, but the move involved so many bureaucratic hurdles from distressed government employees that I was left on the platform for hours before being taken to the hospital. My left leg had to be amputated from below to the knee immediately to prevent gangrene from setting in. I was losing blood alarmingly. Here, I was informed that the hospital was out of anesthesia with no choice. I instructed them to go ahead with the amputation. The limb was sawed off while I was fully conscious. The hospital staff was severely incompetent by the lack of supplies, but did everything in their power to make my suffering lessen. The pharmacist PC Yadav donated his own blood because there was no spare. To give you an idea of the kind of hospital and place it was, I need to mention this. After the amputation, as I lay in the OT, a street dog ventured into the room and started feasting on the leg that had just been removed from my body. My right leg also didn't remain completely immune from the accident. A rod was inserted in the right leg from the knee to ankle. While I was fighting for my life without my knowledge, I had become a media sensation. Newspapers and TV channels picked up my story and reported on the gory details. It is outrageous that a young girl traveling alone can be thrown off the train just like that. Both the UB and the national government got involved. Jamaican, the sports ministry arranged for me to be shifted to AMIS, where I was assured to receive world-class care for my distraught family. This provided some temporary relief. What I didn't know then was the worst was yet to come. She said Initially, my story was being bounded by the state and national governments because of the sympathy forces it could help Ghana. Then it took a market turn where my story captured national attention. Questions began to be asked that who was responsible for my accident and who all should be held accountable. It's not that someone was out to get me, but everyone wanted to save themselves in the mad scramble to avoid the blame that followed. The easiest scapegoat was me. First, stories started circulating that I was traveling without a ticket and had jumped to avoid being caught by the ticket collector. A CCTV footage showed me standing in a queue to purchase the ticket. With this theory invalidated, even louder claims that I wanted to commit suicide started doing the rounds. I could have been shouting my innocence from the rooftops. While she was being continued to her story, she said, on April 18, 2011, I was brought to the All India Institute of Medical Science for further treatment. Spending 4 months at the institute, I was provided a prosthetic leg free of cost by a private Delhi-based Indian company. I was in a Commonwealth ward, and from there my prosthetic leg journey started. Physiotherapy played really a huge role in my rehabilitation. It actually gave complete movement to me and helped me regain functional freedom. Basically, physiotherapy has so much of power and it benefited me a lot. I was an amputee now and people were looking at me with a pity in their eyes. Honestly, I was tired of explaining people that I didn't attempt suicide. I tried to convince people but failed mostly. Whenever I saw my missing leg, I used to think I will never let it be my weakness. Losing a part of your body at an early age is a big thing. I was terrified with my disability and the people who were criticizing me. Then I decided to answer them with an action, no worries. I was on the hospital bed and was reading a newspaper. I read an article about Everest. It mentioned that there are 15 routes that connected to the Everest. Out of those 15, 14 have been targeted by the mountaineers, and one route is yet to be followed. My brother-in-law was sitting beside me. I told him about this route number 15 and my desire to conquer it. He took a pause and said, if you have determination, then of course you can achieve it. After searching the records, my brother-in-law told me that no one in the world has climbed the peak with a prosthetic leg. These words were enough to lead the spark in me. I pondered on the most impossible dream I could set for myself. I decided to climb the Everest. Yes, I had many options of choosing something easier, but Mount Everest is a game where you can develop your self-confidence, and I wanted to do that. Also, I converted my weakness into my strength. Every girl cannot climb the Everest to prove herself right, but for me, it was never a choice. The public imagination had reduced me to either a victim or an attempted suicide case. This was the only way I could reclaim my voice. When I tried to tell my doctors about my plan, there were two reactions. If I tried to discuss my plan with anyone, either I was laughed off or told that trauma had affected my mental health adversely. Usually amputee patients take months or even years to get accustomed to their prosthetic limbs. I worked into 2 days. The mind holds tremendous sway over the body. Once I had decided that this was what I would do, I let nothing get the better of me. After I have decided to climb the Everest, I needed guidance to start the preparation. I asked the journalist to get me Patient Tripal's number. She arranged it for me in just 2 hours. I called Patient Tripal and introduced myself. I just requested her to meet me and she agreed. Straight out of the hospital with stitches on my leg, I boarded the train to Jamshedpur to meet Patient Tripal. She welcomed me and listened to me besides my immediate family. She was the only person to not dismiss my mission, but she didn't sugarcoat it either. She told me, "ARUNIMA, in this condition, you made such a huge decision. Know that you have already conquered your inner Everest. Now you need to climb the mountain only to show the world what you are made of." After I met her, I didn't turn back to my home. I started training from there. Since then I stayed on the mountains. The reason was I had to acclimatize. Everest is the highest peak in the world. It took 52 days for me to complete the mission. Before starting the summit, I had covered the peaks surrounding Everest. I did this to acclimatize my body. I did a basic course from the Nehru Institute of Mountaineering, Uttarkashi, the best school of its kind in Asia. This was followed by 18 months of rigorous training. There was no Sunday, no Diwali, no Holi. For me, I climbed smaller, but no less dangerous mountains. Had a couple of near-death experiences and underwent mind-numbing, exhausting, spirit-crushing pain. I was not used to carry my weight, so I learned that first. And then I used it to take weight of small stones and have trained myself that way. I supported myself with a grant from NIM. Then Tata still provided me with a generous sponsorship that let me focus exclusively on the impossible task that lay ahead. I started my expedition on 1st April 2013 and reached the summit of Mount Everest on 21 May 2013. Exactly after 52 days, my first feat on the way to the summit was rough with injury. I was so happy to have reached the base camp that I lost my balance and fell to the ground, injuring myself in the process. Mistakes in fact came and went on my way to the top. There were many points in the trek where there were no ladders to support me to the other side of the white gap. I was forced to, on such instances, jump across gaps which if I missed it would have ended my life. My prosthetic limb posed some unique problems. Sometimes blood used to come out the stitches. The ankle and heel would constantly swivel as I tried to climb, causing me to lose my grip often. My right leg was held together by a steel rod. Any pressure sent up spasms of acute intense pain. My cerebral almost refused to accompany me, assuring me that I was on a suicide mission. Most regular folks don't stand a chance against the mighty mountain. What did I stand? On May 21st was the best day of my life, as she said. I had turned my weakness into winning force. On that day, and had answered the whole world, I still can't fully explain that feeling. spending those few 6 to 7 minutes on the summit. I felt like throwing my arms in the air and screaming. I wanted to tell everyone that I am on top of the world, especially to those people who thought a woman and amputee could not do it. I took off my mask and screamed, and my shirt just started at me. At home, you have so different feeling about your national flag, but on top it is completely different. I felt very proud at that moment. Earlier, my sheriff had informed me that my oxygen supply was critically low. Save your life now so that you can climb Everest again later, he said. Pragmatically, I said, if I don't climb Everest now, my life will not be worth saving. I erected the flag of my country on the peak, deposited some pictures of my idol Swami next to it. Then I used the last vestiges of my oxygen to take pictures and videos of myself on the peak. I knew I was probably going to die, so it was important that the visual proof of my achievements make it down to the world. 50 steps later, my oxygen finished. I have little patience for wonders of faith, destiny, kismet, and the like. We chart our own destiny. It's my firmest conviction that luck will favor those who have the driver and the tenacity to win. As I lay suffocating and gasping for breath, I came across an extra cylinder of oxygen from nowhere. My chef quickly latched it on me. Slowly, we embarked on the precarious downward climb. Far more death occurred on the downward climb than the upward one on Everest, and now that I had survived the worst, it was time to tell my late. I used to feel bad when people called me crazy when I was on my hospital bed and planning to climb the Everest, but now when people call me crazy about my goals, I feel happy. Now I understand, if people say you're crazy about your goal, that means your goal is very close. Swami has always been an inspiration for me. His quote, "Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is achieved," inspired me a lot in making my dream come true. As a tribute to his teaching, I place his photograph on the summit that I conquer. It is the influence of Swami that after that tragic incident, I got an aim of my life and I don't lose hope. I'm grateful to his teaching and his lessons. He's a master for me, a source of inspiration and motivation for me. I will be devoted to him till I die. His thoughts and ideals have influenced me deeply and motivated me to do something in life, not only for myself but also for those who are like me. Inspiration has driven me to establish a sport academy for the physical challenged people. I also took inspiration from Sin and other famous personalities who won over cancer and other life threatening conditions to bounce back and prove their mettle. I have achieved my goal, but now I wanted to help physically challenged people to achieve their goal so that they can also become self-dependent and nobody looks at them with pity. I run a non-profit school. My dream is to make these physical challenged people achieve their dream. I wanted to train them, make them independent and strong through sports. The objective of my sports academy is to provide training to people with physical disability and to empower them through our complete support so that they can get equal opportunities and full participation in society. That's the complete story of the girl. See you soon.